you lose a year ago and then you start talking, and dreaming,
Right.
and the commitment that these guys made, it carried over. They lifted all year long. We have our summer practices. In the summer, kids could be swimming. Our kids show up to football practice. We had like 70 kids show up this summer once a week just to get better.
Welcome to another episode of Building a Champion podcast, where we delve into the stories and strategies behind successful teams and coaching. Today, we are honored to have Bill Magnuson. He is the activities director and head football coach from Pequot Lakes High School. Welcome, Bill.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on here. This is pretty cool.
Love it. Well, as football coach, big week for you guys. What do you guys have coming up tomorrow?
Well, we won our section last week, and so we punched our ticket to the state football tournament. We are a Class 3A team, which is about the middle class here in Minnesota. 6A is the largest, and then we have 9-man. So 3A is about in the middle. We have a state quarterfinal game Saturday, November 9th at 7 p.m. at Rickoria High School against a very talented Annandale football team. We are very talented too, so it should make for a great game.
Love that. And this is not your first experience there in the finals, right?
Not in football, it's our third time going to state, but we've had a lot of success at Pequot Lakes. A year ago, our volleyball team won the state Class 2A state title. We've had boys basketball go to state 3 years in a row. We've had numerous teams compete for the section final and knock at the door of going to state. Our girls golf team has won the state title in the last couple of years. We have a lot of great things happening at Pequot Lakes High School, and our community is incredible with their support, and our kids work really hard to try and achieve those dreams.
Looking at your football season this year, what has been a pivotal moment for your team?
We have 25 seniors out, and that's a lot of seniors at a 3A school. It's a group that's very close-knit. I will tell you right now, they literally made themselves in the weight room. They have sacrificed a lot of things, made choices to stick together and lift. And that senior leadership has really paid off, from their work in the weight room to their leadership on and off the field. And it's definitely played a role in our success this year.
Is there one game that stands out as being like a make it or break it type moment?
Honestly, it's probably last week, the section championship. We've been there. It's our third year in a row of being in the section final. We've lost the first 2 years to a very talented ESCO football team. It was our turn, and our kids really rose to the occasion. We're very focused and knocked down that door to finally, qualify for the state tournament.
Explain that environment as you guys were able to move on here to the next step in the stadium.
Well, it's funny when you start you lose a year ago and then you start talking, and dreaming, and the commitment that these guys made, it carried over. They lifted all year long. We have our summer practices. In the summer, kids could be swimming. Our kids show up to football practice. We had like 70 kids show up this summer once a week just to get better. That carried over into the season, where they just focused on one game at a time with little mini goals along the way of, hey, can we be the number one seed in the section? All those different things. And sure enough, we finished undefeated, played some really good football teams along the way, but kept reaching those individual goals that finally got us to that setting that we wanted. And that was the section final and to be the number one seed. And I'll be honest, we started the game a little tight, and then we just got everybody to relax. And then our senior leadership took over, and we scored the next 28 points in the game and pulled away. And I don't know, it's just been a great season, a fantasy season, but it's all because of a group of guys just believing in each other and working together and continuing to reach those small little goals, not the big goals, the small little ones. Those small little ones add up to big things, and that's what our guys have done.
Huge. Well, every team faces challenges. What's one area that you guys ran into like a tough blockage, and how did your team overcome it?
Well, anybody that's coached high school athletics know that the mental side of it is a huge role. You can be physically very gifted, but if you're not mentally tough to the adversity that happens, to maybe even some of the past, and if you let that get to you, it can cause you not to play at the level you want to. I think this group um, of leaders has faced some of those things. We finally play Esco in week 4, who has beaten us the last couple times, and we were very focused. I'm very happy to say we won 47-6. That's how focused they were. And then getting to the section final where we've knocked at that door but not finished, and that mental aspect of that too, of not letting the past years cloud what you really want to do, and our kids just rose to the occasion. So adversity along the way happens in life, it happens in football, it happens in school, and you have to deal with it, and our kids have done a great job of dealing with that and not letting the past bother them. Just work towards the future and keep moving forward.
You mentioned over 20 seniors. What's that going to do to you guys next year? How are you going to overcome losing all those guys?
Well, yes, it's going to decimate a starting lineup, but we have 2 juniors that start right now. But here's the cool thing: at Pequot Lakes, our numbers are good. We are doing well in football. We had 90 kids out 9 through 12, so we play a full C squad. We play a full JV schedule as best we can, and a full varsity. So right behind this group of seniors is 16 juniors, and then there's 27 sophomores. Okay. So our numbers are still really good. They got a lot of playing experience because they played a JV schedule. And because our football team was really did well this year, those JV players played a lot in varsity games because we had to pull our starters. So we're still excited about our future. Our numbers are really are really high and stuff like that. And the experience they got this year, I think, will still pay off, and we'll be all right for next year.
Football season getting ready to end, then you've got hockey getting ready to start up. That's also expected to draw some large crowds.
We have a very talented hockey team this year and a great coach. Our coach is tied for the most wins in the state of Minnesota.
Wow.
And has a great chance to break it in the first game. We have a very talented group of hockey players that have some goals of going to state. As a group, they took like 2nd and 4th in the Bantam State tournament, so they're right there knocking at the door. So we're pretty excited about that. And like I told you already, our boys basketball just went to state 3 years in a row. Maybe they'll make it a 4th time. Our girls basketball went to state 2 years ago. We have a lot of great things. And I got to mention our wrestlers. A couple years ago, they went to state as a wrestling team. We co-op with Pine River Bacchus, so we have a really solid program there. As you can tell, there's a lot of cool things happening in Pequot Lakes. We're well represented at the state level and across the state.
Love that. We were kind of briefly discussing, can you share what initially drew you to coaching at Pequot Lakes?
Well, I'm 34 years into coaching. I have 30 years of teaching, and I started at a small school called Windham, Minnesota, that gave me my first job. And I tip my hat again to them for allowing a young coach to come in and a young teacher and get his start. And they just let me run with it. And we had some success there. I left Windham and went to Sauk Rapids Rice, and I was there for 16 years. Loved my time there. Took a couple teams to state there. We had some success there. But my wife and I always wanted to get farther north into Lake and Pine Country. So Pequot Lakes is kind of a place we researched. I'm starting my 9th year here, and the success here has been incredible. I love this area. I love our school. I've loved all the schools I've worked at. But that's kind of what drew me to this area, was basically the beauty around here and also the success they've had here. So it's been a great move for us. My boys have graduated from here. They love ice fishing. They love snowmobiling, and you can do all that right here at Pequot Lakes in the Breezy Point area.
It's awesome.
So fun.
Success on the field often mirrored by strong leadership. In your experience, how do you cultivate those leadership qualities among your players?
You got to challenge them all the time. The biggest thing for me is accountability. They know me well enough that I'm going to call them out. We have a no swearing policy on our team. Coaches can't do it either, or you bear crawl. And that might be drastic, but it is what it is.
That's
just
awesome.
Not something that I'm a huge fan of. We want that representation also on the football field, the basketball court, all that. We don't want our kids swearing and reacting to different things. So we challenge them to be better human beings and play the game the right way. And I'm pleased to say that, our kids they live by those rules. They honor them. Do they make a mistake? Mm-hmm. But there's a bear crawl involved, and they take care of it. They get that. And our coaches have done the same thing. So, developing that leadership is an ongoing thing. We have a leadership council group here that we have an outside source that comes in and does a phenomenal job. Our principal, Mr. Aaron Nelson, really believes in that strong leadership. And it's very evident in anybody that's listening to this podcast. If you're in a school, when you have good leaders in your school. It just, things just click, things go right. And we also know when we don't have good leaders. And so schools really thrive on that leadership. And if you have strong ones, man, it sure does make it fun to be a coach and a teacher and be involved in things. And we keep striving for that and pushing our kids to be great leaders. We talk about our football team all the time. Sit in the front row, raise your hand, do the right things, and we also challenge our other athletes to do the same thing.
What is one piece of advice that you would give to aspiring coaches or athletic directors as they start building their own championship legacy?
Number one, I'd say stay true to yourself. If you believe in something, keep doing it. My no swearing policy has been with me for 34 years. And yes, I make a mistake once in a while, but I really pride myself on not doing that. And then stick to your guns on what you believe. If the weight room is important, I do believe you got to be there and show kids that. I lift with our kids quite often. I'm getting older now where I maybe can't lift as much, but I love being there with them. I love seeing the work ethic. I love high-fiving them, seeing the energy there. Stick true to what you believe in, your systems, and then surround yourself with smarter people than you. I have great coaches. I have coaches that I think are smarter than me, but they balance things out, and you collect a staff together, and each of you has your own strengths and weaknesses. And that's the one thing is I've been able to, as a coach here, the schools allowed me to pick my coaching staff. I try to balance it. If you have teachers on your staff, that's really, really a positive thing. But I also have some, community members that are part of my staff. And the reason I picked them is they love kids and they love the game and they do it the right way. So build that strong coaching staff around you, people that are smarter than you, people that will work with you. Those are kind of my keys to success. I've been blessed everywhere I've been to have just tremendous coaches, gentlemen that I call brothers that I love and will give a hug anytime because they support you. Geez, I'm getting emotional a little bit here. It's surrounding yourself with great people and then holding yourself accountable and sticking true to your gun.
And it looks like, I was scrolling through your Facebook, it's not just like the support on the field, but your stands, they are packed of people.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They have themes here and our kids really get into it. Football games are very well attended. You should see a home volleyball game when it's like Western night.
Wow.
We had a pink out and we challenged our staff to show up in pink too. And so we had a bunch of staff members show up in pink. Our staff gets into it too, but our kids, they do a great job of supporting each other. It's kind of a shame when you have a Tuesday night and you have multiple games going everywhere because you don't get the same crowd. But boy, if you get one night where it's just that home event, you should see our crowd. And then I told you already, our community supports us extremely well. And we're very proud to be from Pequot Lakes.
All right. Well, before we wrap up, I've got some rapid fire questions for you if you're ready for them. All right. Quick. Name 3 things you can't live without during the sports season.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Huddle video. Blue cheese salad dressing.
Nice. Wouldn't have guessed that.
What's the salad dressing for?
I am a blue cheese fanatic. Every kid in the school knows I'm a blue cheese fanatic. I'll eat it on anything. And Reese's peanut butter cups is another weakness too. The kids know that too.
If you weren't coaching, what profession would you be pursuing?
It'd have to be something with kids. I went into education because of teachers and coaches I had in high school that basically put their arm around me and just said, "What do you need?" And that's kind of the same way I've gone about teaching and coaching is, sorry, now I get a little emotional again because you think about back to the people who have supported you when you're a kid. And I took those same lessons and I brought them into education myself. I love being around kids. I have 3 boys myself that I love dearly. I have 600, 700 kids right here that I love dearly too, and just want to help support and let them taste success in many different ways. It's not always going to state. It's just other ways. And I just love what I do. But if I wasn't a teacher and a coach, it'd have to be something. I'd probably start a daycare. That's probably what I'd do.
It's perfect.
What is the one pregame song that always gets you pumped up?
Our kids, I'm an 80s guy, and I always tell them 80s rock is the best genre of music there is because there's no swearing. I always tell them that, some of the stuff they listen to, and I don't allow it in the locker room. What's really cool is they've kind of bought into that. They like a lot of 80s rock. But Creed right now, Take Me Higher, that'd be one. And our kids love that song too.
You'll be blasting that on Saturday.
Yep.
If you could have dinner with any sports legend, who would it be and why?
That's a great question. Right now, I tell you, it'd probably be Barry Sanders from the Lions. I love guys that do things the right way. When they score a touchdown, they hand it to the official. If you watch one of our running backs score, they go and hand it to the official. They don't toss it to him. They hand it and they say, "Here you go, sir." The way Barry Sanders played the game, I would love to sit down and have dinner with him and just talk about my admiration for the way he played it, the way he responded to all the publicity. He just did things the right way. And there's other players I could tell you that I feel the same way about, but he's one that stood out to me. And that would be fun to have dinner with him.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Bill. I loved hearing all of your insights and experiences today. Your dedication to the sport and to your students is truly inspiring.
Thank you very much. It's God put me in the right path. He told me to do this job, and he still tells me every day. And I appreciate him for taking care of me and lead me down this path.
All right. Well, good luck on Saturday.
Thank you very much. Go Patriots.
Patriots. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you next time on Building a Champion.